Good morning, and how are you? I hope you are very, very good today. And as you know very well, this is Monday and it's the 18th of September. So, being the 18th of September, what happens exactly? It's a Monday. And on Mondays, we've been doing this since we started doing this a number of years back. We offer and bring to you our free mentorship academy, and we do these 7:30 to roughly 8:15. And we have said it, I have said it several times, that this is a platform we offer, and it's available to anyone that's been seeking for mentorship. We have a lot of people that are always asking and saying, Rev, I'd love to be mentored by you. You know, Sunshine, I would like to be mentored by you. Dr. Nelly, I'd like to be mentored by you. Now, Dr. Nelly, Sunshine, and myself do offer specialized platforms that have a fee to them. But then for those of you that may so wish, you can literally come. I mean, if you've got any reason why you're not able to afford to pay for our platforms for now, you can access these that we offer pro bono, free of charge to anyone who's serious enough to be a part of what we do. We offer these every day. So Monday, I'm on. You have me with Unleashing Your Destiny. And then on Tuesday, you have Aunt Sylvia Sunshine, who offers the Mindset Change program. And then on Wednesdays, we have the open market. So Wednesday is usually open, and we feature different people who come and pay to be on our platform. And then and details for that will be shared later. And then on Thursdays, we have Dr. Nelly, and Dr. Nelly comes through and runs her program, which is the Prosperity for Your Soul, and specifically under the Project Life Design platform. So they do have a platform where they run all those programs. And then on Friday is Dr. Jackie Mulundika, and she comes through with health tips. And I think if you notice, those of you who've been following the last couple of weeks, we have been featuring the Kayula Childhood Cancer Foundation, who have been running programs to help mothers and parents who are undergoing some kind of treatment, especially chemo and radio, get a shelter. But other than that, we usually have different health tips that are available on Friday. So Mondays is me. And so if you're watching this, I want you to go and tag your friends. If you're watching this on YouTube, please take a moment to do the needful, which is to subscribe to our platform. So go over there and subscribe right now. And I always ask people to do this all the time. Go and subscribe now. So if you can do that, that'll be really awesome. And we will be able, obviously, to have you come on board and become a partaker. You will receive all notifications. So just remember to click that bell button for notification. If you want to receive all notifications, and you click the one that says all or the ones that says some. So you will be notified of everything going on the channel, especially with relation to you being updated on what's going on. So today we have been looking at this series, which I think for me is very, very important. The series is entitled Advancement Skills to Master Today. And these advancement skills, ladies and gentlemen, are so critical when it comes to your progress. In other words, a lot of people could have progressed to greater heights if they had mastered these. And thankfully, we are offering this. I am offering these and showing you precisely what you can do in order to master your own progress, to give yourself an advancement hack. That's the word I like to use. So we're giving you a hack on how best you can take advantage and become a part of what we're doing. So today, that's the topic. And by the way, remember, I'm going to flash a banner down there. If you want to advertise, that's what you do. Just follow that link, and then I will share a little later on the other programs that I run. So anyway, so I never cease to be amazed whenever I am at any public place, and whether it's a queue at a checkout bills tills in major supermarkets or ATMs or at a fast food joint, you tend to see people staring at their gadgets, and you know that's become the big thing, right? It has become such a conditioned status that even people with dumb phones will be staring and playing with those. The long arm of Facebook has ensured they offer a free version to those too. Can you imagine that? So what is bad is even those on dates or meetings tend to get to a point where there are those odd and awkward times of silence, and then before you know it, people whip out their gadgets and start fiddling with them and even checking out messages where no notifications were sent. So these things are powerful. I talked about that last 2 weeks ago. Now, in the process, it has made our current generation suffer several setbacks by the key being the inability to create long-lasting bonds with real people, besides what I also mentioned last week. So we're actually having a situation where a lot of individuals are just not connecting anymore. We're just not connecting like we used to, okay? And why? Because of these incessant interruptions. What most people do not realize is that bonds and friendships are created in real time through fellowship, okay? So fellowship is created, okay? And this happens when you meet real people and have small talks about things in life. So there's those small little, almost irrelevant talks that we have between each other, and these are what create those bonds. You see, as you speak and interact, bonds are created, and unfortunately with these gadgets, that does not happen at all because everyone is focused on their gadget, right? They're focused on social media, they're focused on that instead of a real flesh and blood persons next to you. And over time, the skills for social interaction diminish to a point where one cannot form meaningful friendships and connections. And this has serious implications in that it impedes one's ability to expand their network. And remember this, your network determines your net worth. So a lot of people struggle with how to connect with people in real life. Because why? They are so connected to their gadgets, and so they don't know how to form those real bonds. Like, how do you break ice? How do you talk and introduce yourself to new people in any given place? They don't know how to do that. Why? Because they're so incessantly obsessed with their phone. So what precisely are the implications of this inability to bond with real people in real life? So you need to realize that social media is currently being used as a bar, as the bar used rather, to determine one's so-called influence, right? Now, this has birthed an interesting perception that being the more one has a following, the more balanced and strong their network is. Now, this, I'm going to say this, and I speak this as an influencer, right? This could not be further from the truth, right? And I want to explain why. Humans are social creatures, okay? And therefore, they need the interactions that foster healthy interactions and well-being of the persons. So there needs to be that connection in real life, not just this online stuff, right? And the social media aspect has kind of killed that, okay? In the past, listen to this. In the past, people smiled and shook hands to meet. People spoke to one another and connected in the real world. And this was then followed by actual interactions in social settings, which may include clubs, pubs, bars, community centers, churches, events, workplaces, and the like. Okay? And then now, these then grew over time with real-time interactions that were based on genuine interest for the other person. And in the process of such interactions would actually birth real bonds, okay? And sooner or later, that reciprocation would then lead to something very real. So that's what used to happen in the past, okay? Now, what you notice, and I think let me just take a bit of time with that and show you what I mean. So suppose you show up for a board meeting or some kind of meeting, and you are there and that's your first time to meet the other person, or it doesn't even matter even if it's not the first time. But let's imagine it's the first time you're meeting this particular individual. Back in the day, what would then happen is there would be a real tete-a-tete. How are you? I'm fine, how are you? Fine. Walter is my name. Ah, John. Oh, great, John. So, which department are you from? Oh, no, I'm from human resource. Oh, wow. Okay, how's Mr. Mr. Banda. Now Mr. Banda is good. Oh, great, great. Is he going to be part of the meeting? Not really. Oh, so John, how long have you been with the company? You see, now that's real interaction. Because what normally happens, most people, when they go into the board meeting, they're not even looking to see who's there, trying to read the body language, trying to interact with real people, just to learn and understand more about these individuals. And I can tell you this, when you don't do that, when you become overly, tied to your phone, you reach a point where you start struggling with real life interactions. Am I making sense? Absolutely. You start struggling with real life interactions, and you reach a point where you don't know and have no capacity or ability to really bond with real people. Now, unfortunately, with social media and its power to distract, people no longer interact even with the environment, okay? And they can walk into a bus, a waiting room, a bank, an ATM queue, and actually not see what is going on around them. And most inspiration, let me tell you this, most inspiration is set where? Through these interactions, which include observing your environment, like in real time, like sitting there and observing what's going on with your environment. And I must say, it's very sad that many people don't do that. So because they don't interact with the environment, they lose the capacity to bond with real human beings. And let me tell you something, you do not get inspiration by observing your phone. You get inspiration by interacting with people. I've seen this with my own wife on many occasions when we sit down to talk. When I talk with my friends as well, I notice this. And many times those interactions lead me to a place where I say, hey, that's a great idea. And from there, an inspiration is born. I'm able to create something very powerful just from that interaction I had. So this is one component of relationships that many people don't realize is very, very powerful when it comes to helping you to be a better communicator, to better exploit your networks. Let me assure you that you will never exploit your networks purely through social media alone. You need to interact with real people, and that will help you. So what am I saying? I am saying social media and its power to distract people no longer allows them to interact with their environments, and they can end up literally missing what's going on. So many great opportunities for progress in life come through interactions and connections based in real life of the social nature. Okay, so let me illustrate. Now, recently, a random interaction at an ATM queue got John, not the real name, chit-chatting with another person. They spoke mostly about ICT change challenges and especially cybersecurity. And John, being a client of mine, had learned from me how to maximize and expand networks and relationships. So immediately they asked for the gentleman's number, which he promptly saved and continued interacting regularly. What does that mean? Through greetings on a regular basis. Fast forward a couple of months later, and an opportunity for business occurred, and the gentleman I'm speaking about needed products, and John could supply, and that's how a 450, almost a $500,000 kwacha deal was born. Now, had John not struck a conversation with this man and gotten common interest going, this opportunity and business could not have happened at all. Now, ask yourself, how many great connections and interactions lead to expanding your network, leading to expanding your network could you have gained had you stopped staring at your phone, okay, and interacted with real life people instead? So I'm telling you right now, as a person that trains in this area, to become more engaged with your environment, because so many people miss that. Now, let me draw this for you. There is another component which I'm going to delve into, which is very, very deep, and it has to do with learning how to build these connections. I'm going to now take you into another component, very, very exciting. We call this relationship capital. I usually teach about relationship capital among one of the 7 capitals. So those of you who followed my series, you know I teach about the 7 capitals people need to start a business without cash. And in those 7 capitals, one of them is relationship capital. Relationship capital sits at number 5, if I'm not wrong. So for those of you who are not familiar, the capitals are talent capital, information capital, blessing capital, vibrational capital, which is thought capital, and then relationship capital, trust capital, and social capital. So relationship capital is the one that we're tackling right now. So let's go a bit deeper into that. So relationships, good relationships, whether they are personal, professional, or social, offer numerous benefits that contribute to overall well-being and happiness. And these include, but are not limited to, the following ways. So I want to now show you how powerful these capitals are. This relationship capital is, and how it can enhance you in many ways that are intangible, but completely, what word can I use? Priceless. Yes. So you can't really put a price on it, but it's a very powerful way in which you build and foster yourself in deeper and more powerful ways than you can even begin to imagine. So there are 5 of them which I want to run into right now. And so before I do that, allow me, as always, let's see if this is going to work today. Sometimes our system misbehaves, sometimes it behaves, so you don't know if it's going to work or it's not going to work. So allow me to just run a little trailer which emphasizes a book that I wrote some years back, 2 years ago, which is available for purchase. Okay, so like I thought, my system is misbehaving, so I don't want to get caught out. So let's continue, and I'm going to now share with you these 5 areas. Okay, so let's go deep into them and let's look at them. And so before I begin to look at those, let's just quickly see what. You see, my system is just not behaving. I was going to check to see what comments some of you have been posting. I've been seeing some comments already there. Thank you for your interaction. We're going to delve into those, but fine, let's go straight into the training. Now, number 1 is emotional support, okay? Emotional support. Now, good relationships provide a strong source of emotional support. Now, trusted friends, family members, or partners can offer a listening ear. They can be empathy from them and understanding during difficult times. And this emotional support helps individuals cope with stress, anxiety, and other emotional challenges, promoting mental well-being. Okay, listen to this. Those who do not foster such relationships, that is, end up suffering double when going through any tragedy or exceptionally challenging period. And these relationships help one weather the storms of life better. And this type of crisis include, of course, and they're not limited to, deaths in the family or in around that individual. Also issues of family crisis and health crisis. So family crisis could be, going through a turbulent time. Maybe there's a problem in your marriage. Maybe it could be a problem child or a relative causing issues. Then you've also got the health side of things. Somebody could go through a stroke or through some kind of health crisis, a cancer diagnosis. These things can be very, very hard. And I will tell you this, when you have a support network, they really become helpful. The other day, I was actually mentioning this with my good friend, Mr. Trevor Kamahuza, and we were saying, this is the reason why many times we are very particular about, for instance, the idea of belonging to a church. I've heard a number of people disparage the church and say, that's why I pray at home. I don't need to have a church. But you see, many times you don't realize that network, that circle within the church become a really powerful support structure when you're going through a situation. So it's sad that a lot of people have allowed a few rogue, characters in church settings to give them this idea that they don't need the church. But I assure you, when you go through crisis, that's when you realize how important the church is. So this is one of them. And this is true whether it's an illness, this is true whether it's a job loss or some crisis of some sort. You will find that network really becomes helpful. I saw it in the case of deaths. It's very, very helpful. So make it a point. On the positive side, also how these emotional support comes in very powerfully is when you have a wedding. So again, weddings, a lot of people have seen for themselves how powerful those are. And you find that again, you have a network. You have people that can come around and help to carry that burden with you. So do not ignore the power of emotional support from relationships. And number two, improved mental health. It's amazing how this issue is. Positive relationships have been linked to improve mental health outcomes. Having a network of supportive individuals can reduce feelings of loneliness, depression, and anxiety. Social connections can provide a sense of belonging and purpose, which are essential for mental well-being. I have seen for myself, I lived in the UK for a number of years, about 5 years. I lived and worked there. And I saw how people become very lonely and isolated when they have no network. A lot of times our Caucasian friends suffer deeply from this. And Gallup polls have demonstrated clearly that many people become extremely lonely during their so-called holidays. And for many of these Muzungus in their countries, Christmas is one of the most powerful holidays. Everything shuts down. And I mean everything. And those who find themselves alone at a college or university, or find themselves alone in their little apartment, really feel that loneliness because they have no one they can go to. They have no one they can celebrate the holidays with. And that really causes and increases a sense of loneliness. And that's why having a network is so helpful, because you're able to kind of default and fall back into that network instead of feeling lonely and alone, which is extremely unfortunate, like I say, with a lot of these people in those countries, because they don't connect with networks. And that's why I always say, when you go to any area like that, out of the country, and you go to a new place, make sure you connect. If you're a church person, if you are, like, for example, you're a Christian, you know, the church. If you're a Muslim, the mosque. And then at the same time, those associations that are there in those countries. And I know a lot of people say, nah, you know, I've heard this, Zambians, don't associate with Zambians. They are the biggest PhD people. You know, in NLP, we always teach, it's not the events that happen to you that matter, but the meanings you assign to them. So meaning, you need to decide that you're going to see the positive. And for me, you draw what you see. So if you choose that, hey, all these people are negative, they always are looking for ways to pull you down, then that's exactly what you see. The book Think and Grow Rich chapter states, whatever you focus on expands. I love that saying. In other words, if you focus on the negative, that's what expands and becomes the deal. If you focus on the positive, then that's what expands and becomes the deal. Choose to deliberately not focus on the negative. Do we have jealous Zambians or people out there in the diaspora? Of course we do. But do we have positive, really good people that are helping individuals to progress? Plenty of them. So for me, again, it brings me back to my point. Seek the positive people. Seek those who are going to see you go forward. Seek those who will help you. Create a network deliberately. And it's that same network that will help you in your time of crisis. We've had a lot of people, if you're watching this and you're from the diaspora, you know how many times we've had people that have gotten sick and no one knows they're sick. No one even checks up on them. No one knows what's going on with them because they've isolated themselves in some small little cocoon. And no, because Zambians, no, because I don't want people to see what I'm doing, because then they're going to kind of like rat on me and, oh, they're going to do this to me. Like again, I'm saying, you miss so much. And then when you go through a crisis, this becomes a loud speaker and can lead to great problems, because obviously you're not able to lean back to this community for support. I have overstressed that one. Let's go to number 3. Increased happiness and life satisfaction. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen, how people in healthy relationships tend to report higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction. Why? Because they're able to share experiences, they're able to celebrate achievements together, and they're able to enjoy the company of loved ones, which helps contribute to their overall sense of contentment, purpose, and fulfillment. Can you imagine that? You know, that's why all of us, whether we like it or not, yearn to have these 3 things. I always talk about them: rap. We yearn to rap. Rap stands for be recognized, acknowledged, and praised. That's what rap stands for. Recognized, acknowledged, and praised. Every human being, without exception, even Thanos in the Marvel movies, was looking to be recognized, acknowledged, and praised for whatever crazy plan he was coming up with. Every human is looking for that kind of acknowledgement. And so what you notice is that for all of us here, when you are in that kind of network where there is somebody that's recognizing your input, where they appreciate who you are and they praise you on a regular basis, you find that such people are actually happier, they look better, they have better demeanor, they have better presence and charisma. Everything about them is different because they are feeding off the positive vibes in their environment. I've heard a lot of people also talk about when you're in a narcissistic relationship with a horrendous spouse, how it can work negatively. Is true. It can kill you. And that's why you need this idea of increased happiness and life satisfaction. And many times, you will not believe it. It actually is found in that network. That's why relationships become such powerful capital. Now imagine if your spouse speaks positively to you every day and has something nice to say about you and gives you all this positive vibe. Do you know that works much better? And those people are happier. They're happier than when you live in a place where every day, there is something wrong about what you've done. In fact, there's a saying that I like to say. It says, be where you are celebrated, not tolerated. Okay? So be where you are celebrated and not tolerated. So in short, you need those vibes. You need that positivity. And it comes from relationships. And then number 4, enhanced physical health. Okay, good relationships. Can you believe this? Good relationships can have a positive impact on physical health. Like, wow, yes. Studies have actually shown that individuals with strong social connections tend to live longer, have lower rates of chronic illnesses, and recover from illnesses more quickly. So social support can also encourage healthy behaviors such as regular exercise and balanced nutrition. So if you hang around people that are into that stuff, like my 2 elder sisters, you will find that you are more likely to also become conscious of your health and want to do things in relation to better health. But if you're hanging around negative people who are not interested in their health, you will not do it. So that's why it's so important to be around positive people. So can you imagine, can you imagine that actually you can get better health-wise just because you're hanging around positive people? That's why the saying goes, you are whoever, you're the sum total of the people you hang around with. And so you got to be very deliberate. And I know some people say, oh no, that's being, what's that word? That's being selective, bazimvela, which means they kind of look on themselves, they think they're special, they are show off or whatever, they are snobby. Sorry to say this, it's not being snobby, it's being around individuals that are adding to my journey, they are adding to my positivity. Dr. Nelly the other day was talking about how much I am a blessing in her life. Truth be told, these 2 women, Auntie Sylvia and Dr. Nelly, brilliant positive influence in my life. And when you hang around people like that, then by default, Uncle Stephen and Bishop Kangwa and all sorts of other people that, increase into this massive network, it's really positive individuals. And I have come to be so blessed because of such individuals. And that's why I am big on the idea of ensuring that you're around positivity. And this is where, again, even my wife comes in. A lot of people have noticed me doing all these posts about marriage. Yes, I can speak for experience from my own wife, that she too has been a very positive influence. And you see, you must remember that if your own spouse, your spouse should be your number 1 cheerleader, so to speak. They should be the one that are cheering you on, encouraging you, being your eyes, helping you to see. And so you see that these things, all these things I've mentioned, they help to build a very positive enhanced physical health as a result of relationships. That's why if your relationship sucks, you will see it. It will show. You know, it will show in everything you do. People will see that you're not happy, and your demeanor, your countenance will not show. And you see, it's amazing that when your countenance and your demeanor is low, even the vibes you emit are negative. And that in itself can repel people subconsciously without realizing. The reason you are repelling the people is because you are subconsciously transmitting negative vibes. Your body posture, everything you're doing is emitting, don't talk to me. I'm not interested in hearing anything from you. I have nothing to say to you. That's what your demeanor is transmitting. And so even people who could have come to you and talked to you and greeted you, and perhaps they could be your next destiny helper, won't come your way because just everything about you is negative. You see, that's why we say, for example, for those of us who are believers, we actually talk about the fact that the joy of the Lord is your strength. When you have this positivity and joy that comes from God, it is infectious. It's infectious. Everybody around you catches it. Let me hurry up with this. We've got to finish now. Number 5, personal growth and development. Now, healthy relationships can foster personal growth and development. Interacting with others exposes individuals to different perspectives, ideas, and experiences. Constructive feedback and guidance from trusted individuals can help individuals learn and improve various aspects of their lives, from communication skills to problem-solving abilities. So have you seen that when you interact with the right kind of people, you create that rapport? The rapport has an impact on you. The same way we say birds of the same feather flock together, whether negative or positive, they always work to bless each other. You actually pick whatever you see around others. So most significantly, good relationships also work as door openers to the next levels in lives of most persons, as every opportunity tends to come through people or someone. So many of these then become what we call destiny helpers, like I said, and in some instances this goes beyond just helping and translates into destiny midwives, okay? And these midwives go beyond the casual door opening and facilitation. Many know to an actual active catalyst in the life of the subject. And these two women in our circle here, Dr. Nelly and Sunshine Sylvia, these guys have been serious, not just destiny helpers, but midwives. I'm watching Sunshine midwifing somebody in our circle back to life. It's amazing to see it. Dr. Nelly, I can't even begin to speak. The number of people that follow that woman and what she's been able to do to impact them, I can't even begin to say. So this is what I'm talking about. But you see, these midwives make substantial impact in the lives of the subjects and completely change the trajectory of their lives. In closing, good relationships offer emotional support. They contribute to improved mental and physical health. So can you imagine some people, just to help them become better mentally, just give them good relationships. That's all. Can you imagine? Some people are just lonely, all right? Increased happiness. Some people, the happiness they need is just to have good relationships. They have lousy, negative, toxic relationships. So some people just need to get rid of the toxicity in their lives, okay? They also provide opportunities for personal growth and development. I cannot even begin to explain how much I learn every single day from these people in our group. And that they're not the only ones. I am deliberate in the relationships I create around me. And I am learning every day. I'm growing every day, okay? Cultivating and nurturing these relationships is essential as a part of leading a fulfilled and happy life. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see fulfillment, if you want to see happiness in your life, it's not about getting money, it's not about getting opportunities, it's about building solid relationships. A lot of people miss that part. They don't realize that they can build solid relationships by utilizing everything I've explained in order to extend their reach. Now, if you've been listening to this and you feel that there is so much that you have learned there, then you can become part of our special coaching programs, Unleashing Your Destiny or Financial Intel 101, by reaching out to the link that I'm now sharing below on that number. Send a WhatsApp message and you should be able to receive good links from myself on how you can embark on the journey. One of the sad parts that I must say though, is that for a lot of people, they've not learned how to leverage the power of relationships. If you find that you're struggling in any way in bringing the best of yourself, then what you want to do is start to examine your circle. Is your circle, is your circle positively influencing you for the better, or is it negatively influencing you? If a friend of yours calls you and says, "Hey, mana ulikuti, come, let's just go and drink, have some drinks, and there's some nice chicks around," and they know you're married, I think that's not a positive friend. I think you ought to be teaching such friends. You want people to say, "Hey, Mana, I remember you were telling me about this and that. There's this seminar." Make sure you're part of it. In fact, you know what? Send me the money now. But I've got no money. Okay, I'm going to pay for you and I'm coming to pick you up on Saturday. Let's go to the seminar. You see? Now that for me is being literally a destiny helper bordering on destiny midwife. For many people, as I speak on this transmission and close, these are the kind of people you need in your life. You can't be hanging around losers who are going to be every day influencing you for the negative. Because for you, that means you're never going to progress. That means you're never going to see anything positive come out of your life. You need people that are going to actually do something in helping to push you to the next level. And so on that note, I really do hope that you take this very seriously. If you've listened to this and you've been moved in any way, be part of the classes. Don't just be like, "Oh, wow, that's powerful." You know, I've had people who told me this is powerful like 5 years. We would say powerful, but they're not progressing. And they're the same ones who come back to me, "Rev, I need mentorship." I'm like, dude, the mentorship is already being offered free of charge on our platforms. Go there and actually do something. Don't just listen and say this was powerful, but actually make a decision and say, what am I going to do now? Based on this lesson I learned today, what can I do to actually change my reality? What actions can I take now to change this scenario? Am I going to carry out an audit of my friends? Ask yourself, and sorry, I have to close, but I've just remembered on auditing friends. My sister-in-law, I always use this as a reference because it was just so profound. The other time we were looking for $900. I remember this, $900, which isn't really a lot of money, to be honest. But at the time we didn't have it. And she says, "So you don't have friends that can give you that $900 and then I will refund you when you come over here?" $900, ladies and gentlemen, is about 18 to 20,000 kwacha. And I told my sister-in-law, "Munamu, but is that it will take maybe a week before I see that money?" A week? She says, "A week to get $900? I said, "Yep." She says, "Ish, you people need to do something about that. $900 is nothing. In my circle right now, if I need a $5,000, I can get it like that. I can make one call and one of my friends can give me a $5,000. I said, yeah, we're working on that. But you see, I did not take any offense in her statement because she was stating a fact. The fact is, if your circle cannot be able to even generate a 20 to 30,000 kwacha, which is nothing, that's like what, $2,500? If you cannot raise that kind of money, then it means you really need to look at that circle again. And here I'm talking from my level, right? There are people right now who are in levels where they can do even as much as 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. When I need a 200,000, I need to clear a container. All right, it's coming. Wow. You know? So if your circle, you are struggling with my 500 kwatas, 100 kwatas, it's a lecture, and no, then you need to do something about that circle. And I'm not in any way demeaning anybody here, but I'm just saying, look at that circle, carry out an audit, and ask yourself, is this the kind of level you want? Tomorrow, Sunshine will be here with the topic mindset change, and you know she comes with powerful stuff. But from myself, next week we'll be coming with an even more riveting subject. Next week we'll be looking at managing your relevance to society. Have a great day and looking forward to see you.